Hey guys, happy Friday evening. Coming at you with my top 5 tips to get you through the weekend and stay on track so that you wake up Monday morning and don't regret the weekend. So that you wake up Monday morning and are happy with what the scale says, or at least not completely crying over the scale. So that you wake up on Monday morning and know that you didn't completely lose all of your progress that you made that week. All right, so here are my top 5 tips. Maybe in no particular order, I'm not quite sure. But number 1, probably the most important, is remember your why. I think I've talked about this before, but your why is your reason for eating well, for working out, for wanting to make a healthy change, for wanting to lose weight, lower your cholesterol, your blood pressure, whatever. The reason why you want to do this. Sometimes we see that cupcake, that pizza, those chips, whatever, and that's all we want. We don't think about beyond that. We don't think about how that food is going to affect our body or results or get us to our goals or not. And so by taking that moment to just pause and think about it, remember your why, your reason for wanting to make those healthy choices. That may help you. Maybe not, but I think that's a good start. It's a good idea to get your brain flowing. Another idea would be, what is a smart swap for this? So if it's chips and salsa, which I love, those chips, maybe you go 1 chip to every 5 baby carrots that you dip in the salsa, right? Because that's going to help you maybe hopefully curb that craving. Still get some of that salsa, still get a little bit of the salt, but not completely feel bloated the next day because of all that salt. So something like that, a simple swap that will help you enjoy those foods you like with still staying on track. All right, tip number 3 is it worth it? Ask yourself, is this chips and salsa worth it to me? Think about how that food's going to affect your body. Think about how it's going to help you either get a step closer to your goals or a step back from your goals, and say, does this taste right now in this moment make it all worth it? Everything that's going to happen because of that. That cupcake, although it looks awesome and those brownies smell great, but is that really truly what you want? Do you want that short-lived, immediate high of that taste? Or would you rather be strong, confident, sexy in your swimsuit this summer? All right. Tip number 3, if you're making it through the weekend while still staying on track, is drink your water. I don't know about you, but when I'm off my routine, I totally do not get in enough water. Thankfully, I had a water challenge going on in my group this week, and I was able to stay on track for Friday, which was huge. I have such a hard time on the weekends, and already my weekend started today because of Isabel not having school, but drink enough water. And if you are going to, enjoy those chips and salsa, drink extra water on top of that, maybe another 12 ounces to help flush out everything and just to help you get your systems moving again properly. That's tip number 4. Tip number 5 is remember that feeling. Okay, so that sort of has a double meaning. Remember the feeling. Remember the bloated, uncomfortable, regret feeling that you have after eating that, I was going to say nasty burger, that big ol' burger and fries. And remember that feeling and how that felt and how sluggish you felt the next day. Remember how bloated you felt after all that fatty, salty foods, right? Remember that feeling when you are presented with that opportunity to make a good decision. Remember that feeling. And then also remember how empowered you felt the last time you made a healthy choice, when you had that temptation. Remember how you felt the next day waking up, feeling confident, feeling in control of your food, feeling lean versus bloated. So remember that feeling. All right, so recap of my top 5 tips to make it through the weekend while staying on track to have a healthy weekend. Tip number 1, remember why. Why have you decided that you want to make healthy choices? Number 2, what is a smart swap? That thing that's super tempting right then in the moment. Is there an option to make it healthier, or an option to have instead that will be satisfying, that might be similar taste-wise, that will satisfy you? Because that's the other thing is, guys, you got to be satisfied. If you have a super big craving for this Oreo and you've tried other things and nothing else will curb that craving, have the frickin' Oreo. Don't make yourself miserable. Nothing is worth being miserable. No matter how skinny or how much weight you lose, nothing is going to feel satisfying if you're still really craving that one thing that you've completely withheld from yourself. I'm not a fan of completely withholding any type of food. All right, just in moderation. So tip number 2 is smart swap. Tip number 3, is it worth it? This thing that's tempting you right now in the moment, is it worth it? Is it worth it to have the regret, the bloated, the sluggish feeling the next day? Really, really think about your choices. Is it worth it? Tip number 4, drink that water. Drink maybe even more water. I know for me it's super hard to stay on track on the weekend, but drink that water. It's going to make a huge difference. All right. And then tip number 5, remember the feeling. Remember the feeling of how awful you felt after you gave in to those temptations that were not healthy. Remember that feeling of regret. And then on the flip side of that, remember that one time that you had that strength to overcome that temptation and stayed strong in making your healthy decisions. Remember that confidence. Remember that sense of control, the sense of power that you had over food. And remember how good you felt in your body, in your skin, that you were lean and strong and confident. All right, so those are my top 5 tips for making it through the weekend while still staying on track, still staying committed to your healthy goals. I hope these tips help, and I hope you like my page. Please let me know if there's anything else that you want to hear more of, more recipes, more workouts, more motivation, more tips. Just let me know. I'm happy to share. Have a great weekend.